Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Well, that was just one of her lies. And of course, last week, as we had DNC emails released, we saw that Bernie Sanders, who had said previously they didn't really care to hear any more about those damn emails, suddenly he was interested when it affected him personally. So he couldn't be interested about the coup in Libya, for example, which is what we're going to talk about today. But maybe he could get interested about a coup against democracy, against our elections. You know, when Julian Assange was talking last week as these emails were breaking for the DNC, he had an interesting observation about what it told us about Hillary Clinton's character. And when he was talking to Democracy Now!, he said, it's important for there to be examples of accountability. He goes, the resignation of Debbie Wasserman-Schultz was an example of that. Now, of course, Hillary Clinton has tried to immediately produce a counterexample by putting out a statement within hours saying that she's a great friend and she's going to incorporate her into her campaign. She's going to be pushing for her reelection to Congress. So he said, Julian Assange said, that's a very interesting signaling by Hillary Clinton, that if you act in a corrupt way that benefits Hillary Clinton, you will be taken care of. Why does she need to put that out, he said. Certainly it's not a signal that helps with the public at all. It's not a signal that helps with unity at the upcoming, at that time, DNC, the convention. It's a signal to Hillary Clinton partisans to keep on going on because you'll be taken care of. So today, on a day when we have Obama holding a press conference saying that Donald Trump is unfit for office, I think it's important for us to go back and look at what we and others in the authentic media have been exposing about what happened in Libya for 5 or 6 years. And I'm not just talking about Benghazi. Today, we're not going to talk about Benghazi at all. We're going to talk about things that happened a year before that, as the coup was unfolding. We're going to talk about the reasons behind the coup. We're going to talk about what was going to happen after the coup. And we're going to see that not only did Hillary Clinton and others know about a black genocide that was being committed in Libya, they were informed of this before the worst atrocities happened. At the same time, the people who want to confiscate guns in America were running arms to ISIS, to Al-Qaeda. As a matter of fact, they were creating ISIS. They knew that they were going to create an Islamic State in Iraq and Syria. That's what ISIS is. They knew that was going to happen. They did it anyway. And so these emails that have been coming out, as well as other documents that were released by Judicial Watch under a Freedom of Information Act request, all of these things have basically been in the background. We've been telling you about it, just as the NSA whistleblowers told everyone right after September 11th that the NSA was illegally doing dragnet spying on the American public. Nobody paid much attention to them until the Snowden documents. Hopefully, now that we see these documents from the DNC, and people are looking at the gossipy aspects of it, maybe we can get to some of the real meat and we can show the hypocrisy of these criminals who acted in a way that was dismissed at the time we were talking about what was happening. We saw reports and it was thrown out as just being conspiracy theories. No, it was a conspiracy reality. It was a criminal conspiracy. It was a Machiavellian plan to create ISIS, and they didn't care who died in the process. And we're going to see some of the blowback that is happening in France now. We're going to see that, of course, France was a major actor in this. They sowed into the wind, and now they are reaping the whirlwind in France. Let's take a look at this article here today. New American says that these emails are exposing Clinton's gun running to terrorists. As they point out, these once secret emails show that they were shipping weapons to jihadists, including terrorists and ISIS. They also revealed that Muammar Gaddafi wanted to create a gold-backed currency for the region. And that was one of the key reasons that the globalists wanted to shut down this operation. Of course, this was already exposed by many people 5 or 6 years ago. We knew about the fact that Muammar Gaddafi had set apart gold for that very purpose, to back his currency. And he was encouraging other African nations to join with him to sell their oil not in the American petrodollar, that is what the United States and Saudi Arabia have contrived to create in order to back up our fiat currency. He was going to directly challenge the central banks of America and Europe with a real currency that was backed in gold. And they were going to directly challenge the petrodollar at the same time. I believe that's one of the key reasons that they did this. We're always told, of course, that they have to start these wars to keep us safe. And yet the reality is they start these wars to protect their financial interests. That's what these emails reveal. So let's quickly take a look at what's going on with this. They say, in addition, they knew that Libyan rebels were massacring blacks as part of ethnic cleansing. Let's take a look at the actual email. This is an email from Sidney Blumenthal to Hillary Clinton referencing France's client and Gaddafi's goal. This was back in April of 2011. What they say in this is that there is a cultivation by France. This is Blumenthal's analysis for Hillary Clinton. France is cultivating clients among the rebels. Leading figures closest to the French are believed to have made payments of an unknown amount to this particular individual, Jonas, who was there. They say also, in strictest confidence, that the freezing of Libya's foreign bank accounts doesn't really present Gaddafi with serious challenges. He holds 143 tons of gold and a similar amount in silver. And they say the gold was accumulated prior to the current rebellion and was intended to be used to establish a pan-African currency based on the Libyan golden dinar. The plan was designed to provide the Francophone African countries with an alternative to the French franc. Okay? They say his quantity of gold and silver is valued at more than $7 billion. French intelligence officers discovered this plan shortly after the current rebellion began. This is one of the factors that influenced President Sarkozy's decision to commit France to attack Libya, because they wanted a greater share of Libyan oil. They wanted to increase France's influence in North Africa. They wanted to provide the French military with an opportunity to reassert its position in the world. And they wanted to address the concerns of his advisors over Gaddafi's long-term plans to supplant France as the dominant political power. Understand, this is a pure Machiavellian ploy that's going on here. They want the oil. They don't want a challenge to their fiat currencies. And so they go to war to create this kind of catastrophe. And of course, as it was pointed out at the time, going back by us and others, New American said in November of 2011 that it's not exactly clear why Gaddafi's regime went from a model regime and an important ally at one moment to a target for regime change in just a few years. Of course, oil was part of it, but then they also point out how devastating that would be. And of course, that was the calculus of the French. It was the calculus of the American government as well. Let's talk quickly before we run out of time about the ethnic cleansing that was going on. Okay, going back to September 2011, we have reports, that was New American said that there was ethnic cleansing and black genocide at the time. They said there was horrific internment camps, systematic rape, torture, lynching, looting of businesses owned by blacks reported as well. They say there is a brigade for purging blacks and black skin. It was a rebel slogan. So these are the people that we're supporting. We want to talk about Black Lives Matter? Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama were supporting the rebels whose slogan was purging slaves and black skin, okay? It was scrawled all along the road. They wiped out a town called Tariga. About 10,000, mostly black residents, was wiped off of the map. A rebel commander said this town no longer exists. That was reported by the Wall Street Journal. A rebel fighter boasted more recently, we're setting it on fire to prevent anyone from living here again. The Herald reported that was the Sydney Morning Herald, said anyone with dark skin, regardless of their loyalties, can find themselves a target. Did Hillary Clinton know this was going on? Yes. As the anti-media reported, in a March 27, 2011 email, Blumenthal informs Clinton, quote, his troops continue to summarily execute all foreign mercenaries captured in the fighting. And they ask, well, summarily execute, it's a nice way of saying just straight up killing anybody they see, but how do they identify them as a foreign mercenary, he asks. Well, they determine who they are based merely on sight, based on the color of their skin. So as the Levant report sums this up, we've got reports of black genocide. We know that special ops trainers from the West were in Libya from the very beginning. We know that Al-Qaeda was embedded in the U.S.-backed operations. We know that the claims about Viagra rape claims on the part of Gaddafi's soldiers were completely negative. And of course, the key reason of wars is to protect the bankers and to get the oil. For Infowars Nightly News, I'm David Knight. Join us again tomorrow at 7 Central, 8 p.m. Eastern.
We have ended the big mega sale. Now, we have kept 3 items, though, this week That's Brain Force, while supplies last, the amazing nootropic for $17.76, normally $29. Leading competitors that have similar formulas are $60 to $70 to $80. That's 40% off. DNA Force, our flagship product. It's a big deal to offer 30% off on that. We're extending that. And then Vitamin Mineral Fusion, all the vitamins, all the minerals, the amino acids, the cofactors to help upload it. Great tasting fruit punch. Infowars, life.com, that's 30% off. But I'm going to go further. Boom, here it is. Normally you sign up for auto ship, you get 10% off. You still get that on top of it. I'm doing free shipping on everything. Whether it's one Hillary for Prison shirt or a Bill Clinton rape shirt or whatever it is, whatever informational warfare weapon you want to help spread the word and meet like-minded people, free shipping store-wide. Free shipping store-wide. So I want to thank you all for your support, your prayers, and so much more.